afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Payal Patani, staff for Forbin Community Prevention Coalition. We are a program of Forbin Regional Council on Substance Abuse. Thank you for joining us on our third town hall meeting, and I will let Lauren Beckwick introduce our speakers.
So Dr. Shel Laji, better known as Dr. Shel, is an expert in wellness, aesthetics, and comprehensive approach to living our best lives naturally. She's been practicing medicine for over 20 years and is considered one of the leading edge of functional medicine, integrative care, and aesthetics. Dr. Shel helps her patients regain their healthy balance so that they can look and feel their best. As a board-certified OBGYN, Dr. Shel masterfully restores hormone balance, introduces patient-specific nutritional supplementation, creates a healthy gut, reduces stress, and reverses the signs of aging through her complete approach to inner and outer vitality. Dr. Shel is the author of I Am Woman, Our Journeys to Health, Happiness, and Harmony, as well as a highly sought-after international speaker and trainer who focuses on educating physicians and other practitioners about treating the entire patient, not just symptoms and test results. Her passion has always been in women's health. This is evident as she inspires women through international speaking, writing, media appearances, and inspirational videos to believe that they deserve to achieve their goals for complete mind, body, and spirit balance in their lives. She is very involved in her community and has served on several boards and volunteer positions. She is also a devoted wife, a mother of two beautiful children, ages 19 and 16. Please welcome Dr. Shel.
Hey, nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
So without further ado, I have been asked to speak about self-care during this pandemic and COVID that all of us are dealing with. And I'm honored to speak to you all about this because this is so very important and such an important topic and very near and dear to my heart. As I myself have two teenagers, two adolescents who are going through a lot, just like every other person out there. So this is a very important topic, and thank you for thinking of this and organizing it. So I'd like to thank the organizing committee for doing this. I'd like to start with what kinds of things one should look for, symptoms that they should look for and watch out for if you're seeing this in your children and in your families. Especially in this unprecedented time, it's really important to be really on the observation mode. So you want to look for things like if they're having trouble focusing on daily activities, anxiety that may turn into feelings of being out of control, strong feelings that may interfere with daily activities, and if they're having emotions that become difficult to manage. And the final one is look for feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. This will trigger the thought process that, you know, perhaps we need to become more involved. And the other two speakers today are fantastic, and they'll be addressing a lot of different tools as well. So with self-care, I like to, and I've done this for well over 20 years, and the book that Lauren mentioned, it's all about taking care of yourself and looking at that not as something selfish, but it's more self-preservation. And especially as community members or even parents, we think, well, we have so much to do and we simply don't have time to take care of ourselves because our list of things to do is so very long. But remember, when you are better, they are better. And when you are taking care of yourself, you are actually doing so much for everybody around yourself because you will then be able to help them take care of themselves. You want to be the best version of yourself. And that's where self-care really comes in. You need to focus on what's going to make you the best version of yourself and make you happy and harmonious and balanced. And that way you can enjoy your life and you can get through this time, because we know we'll get through it. As a community, as a global community, we will get through this. We don't know how, when, but we will get through this. And in order to have you really take things home that you can remember, I've created this acronym that I like to share with my my patients and my community at all times, and it's faith, Faith. And I love the fact that it's faith, because we really have to have faith that we can get through this as a community if we stick together and really help each other. But when I talk about faith, so let's kind of dig in and see what that stands for. So the F stands for foods that you're putting into your body and the hydration. And we'll come back to all of these in just a minute. So that's your F. Your A is activity level and making sure that you are doing activity and exercising. Your I is introspection. And when I talk about introspection, I'm really referring to mindfulness, deep breathing, meditation. The T is take time for yourself. Because if you take time for yourself, you will be re-energized, your cup will be full, and you can then give back to everybody that's counting on you. And finally, the H is healing sleep, because you cannot heal if you do not sleep. Sleep is where healing occurs. And so just to kind of outline the next few minutes, we're going to talk about all of these aspects. So let's start with the foods, the F. When you talk about food, everybody's heard of the Hippocratic Oath, and that particular scientist centuries ago left us with something that was so remarkable and so deep. And he said, let thy food be your medicine, and your medicine be thy food. Now, why is this important? Well, it's because we don't want to be a pill-popping generation, right? We don't want to really think about everything has a disease process associated with it and there's a pill for everything. What we want to think about is, what are we putting into our bodies that is going to fuel our bodies with a healthy, well-balanced diet and drinking plenty of water. So a little tip on the water, hydration is key. Hydration is how you're going to detoxify. And if we talk about toxins, and I'll come to this again, but when you speak about toxins, we are surrounded by toxins. We are just inundated with toxins, whether it be our home cleaning supplies, our moisturizers, our makeup, our body, things that we use on our body, things that we use around our backyards, things in the air. We are surrounded by so many toxins, and some we can control by removing it, by going organic in our foods, eliminating pesticides and the chemicals, but there are many that you can't, right? So you need to detoxify on a regular basis. So you take your weight, you divide it by 2, weight in pounds divided by 2. So as an example, if you weigh 150 pounds, for example, you divide it by 2, that's 75. And I always say add 20 ounces to that. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to drink at least 95 ounces of water a day. Now that may seem overwhelming. Oh my God, that's so much. If you really break it down, it's not, and this is something that's so important. And as I'm doing this, I've always got my water with me. And of course, use containers that are not plastic, because that's another toxin that you need to avoid, the parabens and the plastics, the BPA. You want to avoid that and get some glass and other containers. That's really important with self-care, because you are now eliminating the toxins on an ongoing basis as you eat and drink the right foods. So to make it easy, I always tell my patients, if you can afford to go all organic, fantastic, go all organic. If you have, the concept that it's quite expensive, and it can get quite expensive, then at least look at the Dirty Dozen, and you can just very easily look that up online. Look at the Dirty Dozen, which are the most chemically infused foods, and stay away from those. Make sure you're buying those as organic, and the others you can sort of cheat on. But water, the right foods, making sure you're getting the right nutrients, and you've got to make sure you're getting a healthy balance with the healthy fats, the right carbohydrates, not the simple carbs. You've got to go complex, and you've got to get enough healthy protein and a lot of fruits and vegetables. Lots of fruits and vegetables, because that's what's going to give you your fiber and your phytonutrients and your antioxidants that occur naturally in nature, and you really need to give your body that so that you can continue to heal without having to take a lot of medications. And before we go away from food, whether you do the best diet or not, the food and the soil today, in today's day and age, for example, does not have the same kinds of nutrients as it did, say, 50 years ago. So your tomato is not going to have as much lycopene as it did 50 years ago. So you're still going to need to take some very basic but very high quality supplements. And this discussion does not permit me to talk about that so much because it's going to be short. But we need to really, really focus on high quality supplements. And you can go to my website, drshelenalaljiaesthetics.com, and look at some free blogs and find out more about the right supplements that you need to take, because that is where you'll get the nutrients that sometimes you can't get from food. So remember, F for food intake and hydration. Next, let's go to A. The A is for activity. Now, it's really important when you're taking care of yourself to get exercise every single day. Now, when I'm saying exercise every day, you don't have to spend an hour or two every single day, but you do need to become active. That could be a walk outdoors, that could be yoga, that could be some resistance work, that could be running, it could be cycling. Of course, in today's environment, you want to make sure that if you're spending time outdoors, you want to maintain your social distance and use the right precautions so that you're keeping yourself safe as well as others safe. But activity has been shown to release the happy hormones. And you need those happy hormones. You need the serotonin and the dopamine. You need those hormones to have those happy thoughts and relieve that anxiety, because that is what's really affecting millions of people right now, is the anxiety that is related to having being surrounded by the COVID and all the social media and the media talking about all these scary things. And you've got to just get away from that for a little bit and you have your body moving. When your body moves, your body, once again, detoxifies. It detoxifies negative emotions. It detoxifies the toxins that we're surrounded by. So activity is something that you really need to consider bringing into your life at least 30 to 45 minutes a day. The days you can do longer, awesome. The days you can't, surely we can all find 30 to 45 minutes of just some activity. And if you can't do that, 15 to 20 minutes, you've got to start moving. Especially a lot of us are working on Zoom or online schooling with Zoom. You've got to get up between your classes, walk around and do a little stretching. Very, very important. One of my favorite things to do is yoga. Yoga is something that is so important for self-care because it accomplishes two things. It accomplishes stress relief as well as stretching, flexibility, balance, and just a complete overall head-to-toe care. One of the free apps I can suggest that I use myself almost every day is called Down Dog, so you can write that down. It is a free app, and I'd highly recommend it for beginners as well as for more advanced yoga practitioners. So let's go on to I. The I is for introspection. Now let's talk about that for a second. Why do we want to introspect? Because this is where peace lies within you. And if you don't have the connection to yourself, if you're constantly connecting to the world outside, whether it be through television, social media, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever your choice is, or in person, you are not connecting inwards. So you've got to try to go inwards and get to know yourself and go into silence. You know, centuries ago, we had mathematicians such as Pythagoras and Pascal, the Pythagorean theorem. All of you have heard of the Pythagorean theorem and Pascal. They actually have left us with instructions where you need to go into silence. And some of us just aren't used to silence, right? Some of us are afraid of silence. Some of us get very anxious when it's silent. So try 5 minutes. 5 minutes of just sitting in a beautiful place. It could be anywhere, outdoors, indoors, what have you. Close your eyes, don't close your eyes, doesn't matter. But just be silent and focus on your breath. And if you want to learn a little bit more about deep breathing and meditation and mindfulness, there are some wonderful free apps that I could recommend to you. Some of them are Insight Timer, you can write that down. Calm has a free version. Headspace gives you 10 free sessions. Go into some of these apps for some guided work. The 5 to 10 minutes is where you need to start, and then you can build up to whatever works for you, 30 minutes, an hour. But the best way to, and the easiest way to learn deep breathing is I always tell my patients, do a square breathing technique. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, and 4 seconds hold. That's only 16 seconds. If you do just 10 of those breaths, you're going to feel like a new person. And please try that today after this seminar, and you will absolutely feel the difference that I'm asking you to feel. Mindfulness is something that we know that large, high-end executives do, doctors do, students do. We have it in schools now. It's a fantastic way to take care of yourself, connect with yourself, okay? So next we have the T in faith. Take time for yourself. Once again, there are many things you can do, where you really feed your body, you feed your spirit, you feed your soul, you feed your emotions. Some things that I can suggest are journaling. Start a journal. If you've never done it, just pick up a new journal and start writing. You can pick a subject to write about each time you make an entry, or you can do something where you're just looking at gratitude. Write down 5 things a day that you're grateful for. It could be anything. And certainly all of us are grateful for at least 5 things, because it's really important to start your day and set the tone where you are practicing gratitude. When you practice gratitude, really interesting scientific things happen. Your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, actually decreases. Your happy hormones increase. At night, your melatonin increases. Gratitude is like magic. If you can practice gratitude and just list out 5 things that you're grateful for and write it down, it's going to do wonders for you. Some of the other things that you can do is share something that's made you proud or happy in the past 2 weeks. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a little, hey, good going there. Don't constantly criticize yourself, because that's not what's going to serve you. It's not going to feed your body and a soul. Make a list of things that you'd like to say no to. If your plate is overloaded and full, too full, you need to make a list of things that you can just say no to. Declutter your desk, declutter your room. Spend an entire day without looking at social media. These are some of the things that you can do to take time for you. And my favorite, get up early in the morning one day and watch a sunrise. Or watch an amazing sunset. We have beautiful sunsets in Houston. Watch an amazing sunset, something in nature that you should appreciate, that you rarely have time to notice. And those are some amazing things that you can notice where you can really take time for yourself and feel like you're healing. Say a mantra that brings you comfort, such as, I am confident, all will be well, or may I be happy and healthy. These are wonderful things that you can do to just take time for yourself and do something that you love. It could be art. It could be making things with your hands. This is a very rare time. It is actually giving us the gift of having more time for ourselves. And so when we have that time, let's take it for ourselves. And when we're better with self-care, everybody will be better, because we will give away that energy of positivity and the energy that everybody wants to be around. Now, the H in faith. The H is for healing sleep. Now, why do I talk about sleep? A lot of people will say, oh, I can survive on 5 hours or 6 hours. I don't need much sleep. Well, as a physician, I'm here to tell you, you need sleep to stay healthy. Sleep is one of the most vital things for your health, because a lot of things happen while you're sleeping. One of the biggest things that happen is regeneration of your stem cells, of your neurons, of the connections between your neurons. That happens during sleep. Healing happens during sleep. Detoxification happens during sleep. All of this happens where we are surrounded once more by a lot of stress. And stress yields to inflammation. Inflammation leads to diseases, chronic diseases such as cancer, such as neurodegenerative diseases, autoimmune diseases, stress is one of the biggest killers. And when you sleep, your cortisol levels come down. So you're able to reduce that inflammation, build your immunity, enhance your mood, reduce anxiety, reduce depression. Most of my patients, I always advise them to have 8 hours of sleep. Some people, if they just can't, at least 7, that's your minimum. And then closer to 9 hours for kids and adolescents is where I like to say you need to kind of give yourself this wonderful healing power that you can heal with. And it's all in your body. As a physician and as a functional medicine doctor, integrative physician that I've practiced for over 18 years, I'm here to tell you, your body is an amazing, amazing piece of machine, if you will. Scientifically, it has all the functions of being able to heal itself. But you've got to give it the raw materials. The raw materials are, you've got to give it the right foods, the right nutrition, hydration, activity and exercise. You've got to give it that silence and mindfulness. You've got to do something joyous that brings you joy. Take time for yourself. And finally, the sleep. It is so crucial. So be gentle with yourself during this time. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with those around you. Times of high stress can bring out both the best and the worst in people. And it's wonderful when it brings out the best. And if you start taking care of yourself, if you're a parent listening, or if you're a student listening, if you start taking care of yourself, something magical will happen. Everybody around you will see the change that that's making, and they too will follow suit. So stay calm, stay well, stay healthy, harmonious, and happy. And God bless.